Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Shady C here. We're going to talk about this Goldberg story, but first, I'm going to let you know we're in a fatal four-way Extreme Rules match on Saturday night's main event. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake. Bit of an old school match for you. But I wanted to get into this Goldberg situation right away. When Goldberg came out, they had a big thing where Michael Cole said, the greatest WCW champion of all time. And I think that was a huge slap in the face to every other WCW champion that was better. Hulk Hogan drew like crazy in WCW. And they say that's what makes a champion greater, whatever, you know, is their drawing power. Hogan brought WCW from a redneck regional promotion to bigger than the WWF at the time. For a time, I should say. For a time, it was bigger. Goldberg he wasn't a bad champion. And he wasn't even an extremely long champion. The only thing that he had going for him was that streak. And if you notice, WCW was much smarter than the WWF. Because when the WWE brought Goldberg in, they had him wrestling in longer matches, and it exposed his weakness. The man is not a good wrestler. He's just not. He can't wrestle very well. He makes Cena look like CM Punk or Daniel Bryan. WCW was much smarter. Go back and watch all his matches. I would say 90% of them were very short. You know, he went in there, he hit a few moves, and then he hit a spear and a jackhammer and got the win. That's what happened. WCW was much, much smarter. There's our undisputed champion, folks, Hulk Hogan. But, like I was saying, though, WCW was a lot smarter. Michael Cole, have you ever heard of Hulk Hogan? Have you ever heard of Randy Macho Man Savage? Have you ever heard of Ric Flair? Have you ever heard of Sting? These were much bigger and much more memorable champions than Goldberg. He just wasn't that good. And it wasn't like he had multiple runs. It wasn't like he had an extremely long run. I believe, if I'm correct, I believe it was less than a year. I feel like they had to say something big to build him up. They had to say something like, oh my gosh, something to put in the build-up. I don't even know if Vince told him to say that he was the greatest WCW champion of all time. I don't think Vince did. He might have. But I think Vince is smart enough to know the backlash that would come from something like that. So I don't believe Vince did. I believe Michael Cole just diarrhea of the mouth kind of thing. So he's going to get a lot of heat from this, I'm sure. He should. But you gotta remember, he probably never watched WCW. He probably knows very little about WCW. Before joining the WWE, he was a war correspondent. I looked it up. Michael Cole was a war journalist. I'm 90% sure, there's Earthquake, I'm 90% sure he knows nothing about pro wrestling except for what he's told. So then again, maybe somebody did tell him to say that. I don't know. But I feel like he's made the wrong decision. Wrong choice of words, wrong thing to say. Goldberg is not, I wouldn't even put him in the top 5. But who would I put in the top 5? That's a good question. Thank you for asking. Since my opinion matters, I shall tell you. I would put, we'll start with 5 and go to 1. Number 5, I would say Kevin Nash. Number 4, I would say, now remember, this isn't written. This is all from the top of my head. Number 4, I would say, let's not say Sting. Let's make Sting a little higher. Number 4, I would say Hulk Hogan. Because he wasn't the greatest of all time, but he was a good one. So 4 will say Hogan. 3 will say 3 will say Savage. 2 will say Ric Flair. No, we'll say Sting for 2. And number 1 will be Ric Flair. Because Flair A was the most, I believe if we're just counting WCW, I think he was the most. And his promos were awesome. Were amazing. They made women want to be with him and men want to be him. To a much smaller degree than Shawn Michaels, of course. Shawn was definitely better at that, but I feel like that would be my order for the top 5 greatest WCW champions of all time. And if we count the TV championship, which Goldberg held, I think wasn't it the TV title? No, it was the US title. He wouldn't even be anywhere near the top 20 because there were so many great athletes who held that title. But no, that's my little rant. Let's get to the match here, folks. I'm going to do color commentary and commentary all by myself. Call me Joey Styles, Shady C, in the house. And a neckbreaker by Bam Bam Bigelow on Earthquake. Now Bam Bam's going after Hogan. And he's got him in an atomic drop. That's a move we don't see very often anymore, folks. And Andre's got Bigelow. He's big. Wow. Hogan interrupted that body slam, of course. Hogan, the only one standing in the ring. Well, now they're all getting up. And some kind of a big power bomb throw. A reverse power bomb throw by Hulk Hogan. I'll tell you what, you can tell weight detection is obviously not turned on. I think I'm going to check it out after this match. And if it's not turned on, I'm going to turn it on just because I want to see if Andre would be as easy to beat by Hogan if weight detection was turned on. And Bigelow and Earthquake are going at it outside the ring. Bigelow and Earthquake, who I believe, if I'm correct, actually wrestled one match in the early 90s against each other. And I believe that was the match where Bigelow solidified himself and beat Earthquake. And a big gut-wrench suplex on the outside of that ring, folks. Now, I don't know if this is elimination or not. I didn't say it, just said fatal 4-way. So it could easily be a one fall to a finish type thing. And he's squeezing the head of Hulk Hogan. Bigelow's on the top. What's he going to do? And diving. Now, it looked like it was supposed to be the diving headbutt, but it was a splash. Is he going to go for the pin here, folks? I think he's taking on Earthquake a little too light here. And a big suplex. Well, like a suplex throw, I guess you could say. And Hogan and Earthquake, you remember their feud, folks. I would have liked to have seen if they would have had Earthquake in his blue outfit. When he first started, he joined up. I don't know if you remember this or not, folks, but again, remember, I don't write anything down or rehearse anything. This is in my brain. I literally am the professor of pro wrestling. But in the early 90s, late 80s, 90s, because Hogan was injured in, I want to say, 91. Yeah. What? Oh, is he going for the pin? No. Well, anyways, when Andre debuted, Earthquake debuted, he debuted Dino Bravo and Hogan were in the ring together. And Dino wanted to show how much stronger he was than Hogan. So they have a random person in the audience who was Earthquake. And they bring him in there. And he sits on Dino's back. And Dino's able to do push-ups with Earthquake on his back. And then Hogan went to do the same thing because they had to both do it. And Earthquake then jumped on Hogan's back and hurt him. And then they had their big match that I believe it was a SummerSlam. But anyways, folks, and a big slam by Hulk Hogan on Earthquake. Just slamming his head down to the canvas, folks. I don't know how Hulk Hogan is still in this match. Basically, it's the Hulkster against 3 big guys. Is Bigelow going to go for a pile driver on Big Andre? No, it's a power bomb, folks. And Hogan going to steal the pin. And no, Bigelow says, nope, you're not doing it tonight. This is a huge match here on Saturday night's main event, folks. And he gets out of the ring. Where's he going? And a nerve. Wait. I went to say a nerve hold. He's got him up. Oh, and he's wailing away at him, folks. Poor Bigelow is still standing. Being beaten up by Earthquake like that. Andre and Hogan's beef, that goes back years, folks. If you remember WrestleMania 3, that build-up was amazing. That literally was a match that came out of nowhere, folks. Originally, Andre was one of the most beloved superstars in Federation history. And Hogan and Andre were both out. And Hogan was given this ginormous trophy. And then Andre was given a smaller trophy for being undefeated. Which in reality, folks, he was not undefeated. He actually had been beaten and slammed several times before that. And Hogan working on the legs of Big Andre. That's a smart move there. You take out the wheels, there's not much else he can do. Bigelow and Earthquake. If Bigelow was smart, he'd be going for a pin right about now. The other 2 competitors are outside the ring. And someone's bleeding. Is that Andre? Who's bleeding? That is Andre the Giant bleeding. And Big Earthquake escapes that devastating submission by Bam Bam Bigelow, folks. Another move we've never seen Hulk Hogan hit. Now Earthquake. Earthquake sent over the top. Good thing this is not a Royal Rumble or Battle Royal, folks. And there's that big cartwheel by Bam Bam Bigelow. What's funny, if you played the original WrestleMania, the very first one on the Nintendo Entertainment System, Bam Bam actually does the cartwheels in there too. All 4 of the competitors are outside the ring, folks. And a big slam, big power slam with authority by Earthquake there. On poor Hogan. This is amazing, folks. We don't know what's going to happen tonight. We don't know what is going to happen. Andre pulls a ladder out. That's one weapon you never saw in the 80s being used. And a big bulldog type move. It was very sloppy bulldog by Bigelow onto Andre. I was kind of hoping we would have heard Bigelow's heel music, early 90s heel music. Bam, 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 bam. Man, folks, this match is definitely an epic, amazing match here on the Shady Sea Wrestling Federation. And a side Russian leg sweep onto Earthquake by Bam Bam Bigelow. AZ bringing him back. He brought him back into the ring, folks, the hard way. And now Hogan getting in as well. We have not yet seen any double team moves yet. Oh, what's he gonna do? Oh, and that big butt bounce thing. Toss Earthquake like he weighed nothing there. 1, 2. Oh no, Hogan broke it up. Hogan broke it up, folks. Big punches and clothesline on Bam Bam. Now it's Hogan and Earthquake in there. Big boot. And that's it. That's the end of the match, folks. 1, 2, 3. That's it. And indeed an impressive match. Let's see some of the sights and sounds from earlier, folks. Earthquake went for a pin on Bam Bam there. 1. Couldn't get it. And this, I think, is the last one here. 1, 2, 3. Hogan celebrating.